Today I want to talk about a guy that has eaten close to 40,000 Big Macs and is 72 years old and is doing great. His name is Don Gorske. So I hadn't heard about Donald Gorske until my friend EGR, it's my pen pal from the UK. He told me about him and I looked him up and I was like, wow, like this is a great story, and it's a great reflection of what I talk about, how structure really trumps diet. Who is Don Gorske? He's a retired prison guard in Wisconsin. He was born in 1972. He ate his first Big Mac, back in the 70s, loved it, and started eating a lot of them. And then he just kind of consistently ate them every day. Yeah, I think he only missed 8 days in 5 decades of not eating a Big Mac. For 50 years, he ate a Big Mac every day. And he's got the Guinness Book of World Records. He ate his 30,000th Big Mac in 2018. And in total, he's eaten over 35,000. According to our beliefs, right, that like Americans are all fat because of we eat McDonald's and other people don't, right? Like, here's a guy who, now he's 72 and he still looks fine. But like for most of those years, he looked great. He was eating these Big Macs. He had no health issues. And so he was a complete exception to all these beliefs that we have. Today he's 72 years old. He's 6'2". He's 185 pounds. So he's not obese. He's probably in better shape than 95% of people his age. His cholesterol is only 140, pretty like average, normal, and his blood pressure is fine. So like, what happened? Like, why didn't this guy fall apart? Why didn't he become an obese pig and die an early painful death the way that like we believe that McDonald's will do? And the answer is like biomechanics, right? Like his structure, he never did orthodontics. The guy looks pretty healthy, like he had a good skull, good development. And when you do that, as I've mentioned in the past, you can basically eat whatever you want and it will not impact too much. And if you're, if he was wearing a mouth guard, I bet he would even been improving and looking better the whole time. Stories like his, and there's a lot of them, don't surprise me at all. And I think, you'll find plenty of the opposite story where the person was healthy their entire lives and just ate healthy food, did exercise, and they're completely falling apart at 72, right? And it's not, in my view, genetics. It's just biomechanics. And, I am a good example of that. Like, I figured out back, years ago that I didn't think diet played a role, especially if you're doing the correct biomechanics. So if you're wearing a mouth guard, you're doing the things that I mentioned, you will improve regardless of what you eat, which is what I felt for years. I eat whatever I want, right? Like I love eating a lot of ice cream and bread and things, like as much as I want, anytime I want. I don't exercise and I just only improve. I'm just like Don, like we eat whatever we want and we're fine because that's how it works. Some closing thoughts, right? Like people and the media have made McDonald's and fast food out to be this horrible thing that has ruined American health and society. And in reality, I don't think it's done any of that. What has ruined American health and society is something that I wrote about earlier, where there's a generational decline. And that's why is there a generational decline? Because I believe that mothers pass on distortions to their kids. And therefore, if a mother's body gets distorted before she has birth, her child will be passed on these compensations and therefore develop a malocclusion and, will kind of be twisted right out of the gates, right? And so if a mother twists her child, right, and then the child is twisted and then therefore the child is going to twist their child, you can see how this becomes worse by generation. And that is why I think places like the US and UK, where orthodontics and things have been around for over 100 years, we're already about, I think I call it fourth generation, whereas places like, people that live on the Amazon or in Africa, like they're still first generation. So those people can eat McDonald's all they want and they can be fine. Now, it'll be rare that like very few American kids these days are not compensated in some way, right? So, which is why I think there's less and less healthy, good-looking people among Americans, despite how much we care about health and exercise. And I think, unless this message about biomechanics starts to spread, you can expect this to just get worse until eventually there's almost no attractive people in America, except of course the people that are doing Revive.